All right. Hopefully, we've got some folks watching today. I'm just going to select our stream here and make sure it's the correct one. And I'm not in a position at the moment to check my chats, but we're going to do that right now. Just going to go to over here to my channel and find what we're doing and get that sure it's the muted here. I don't know, can you guys hear me okay or not? Let me know. It seems like to be a lot of room noise there. I'm going to double check that. Chats, but we're going to do that right now. Just going to go to over here. Anyway, I'm sure it's fine now. I just want to make sure that the chat will come up and I can see you guys. So I'm going to say, hey, everyone, and stick that in there. Okay, so anyway, yeah, I just got this guy drawn up in Illustrator, and I brought it in here, and I'm just adding some bones here to him. I've got the neck somewhat rigged. I've got some dynamic bones in the hair parts here, and the head moves obviously, and when I press play, you see some wind and stuff going on here with the hair. So I'll just turn that off for a second so you can kind of see what's going on. So he's looking really, really nice, I think, so far. So let me know what you think if you watch this. There's a couple of corrections and things, with smart bones and stuff that need to be fixed, but that is pretty simple stuff. I mean, I've got this one correction. Let's just zoom in here that I made. Let me just see. That's going to be down at 48. So let's just kind of zoom in so I can see, where any of this could happen. With dynamic bones, you really don't want to do this kind of thing, so I'm just gonna remove that one from there altogether, and you can see we just have that natural wind going. So pretty cool stuff. Let me just grab this and put that on the top here. Yeah, say hello. We are live, and I do have the chat up. Just say hello if you would like. And now I'm going to turn on my bones and whatnot again. We do have dynamic bones, like I said, in the hair. You can see them blowing with the wind force that I've got. Front and back hair, all these separate pieces that I've created. And it takes a while to set up, but it's pretty cool. It does work well. I still need to rig arms and stuff here. Right now we've got the torso. I need to attach that back collar. Evidently something back here too. I'm not even sure what that is, honestly. Let me check. What would that be? It's probably in the hair somewhere. So we'll do that. We'll make him look like a aging businessman. And let me just pull this to the, oops, not that one. Pull this head bone to the side, and it's just missing points from this lower hair back layer. So I'm gonna just highlight that point right. Let's find out which one it is. I'm gonna have to go to my bone layer again and move this around. I want to try and highlight that point on that hair layer if it will let me. I think the second I switch my thing, though, it's going to go off. So it's going to be somewhere in that vicinity, though. And the second, like I said, I click on this to select that point, yeah, it's going to go away. So let's just find out what's attached and is not. And that's easy enough to do with this little tool here. And we see a missing point right there. So that's how easily that can be rectified. So with that selected, I just come up here and go to that dude and bind it. And now it should be Should be all good to go. I'm going to go ahead back to my bone layer. I'll turn his hair back on because that's just kind of bizarre. And let's move the head now, see if we've got any other weirdness happening there. And it looks like we do not. So cool. So I'm going to attach the arms and stuff here. This hood, or this back hood here, needs to be attached to, we could probably just do it to the chest for now. So I'm just going to grab this bone and tell it, you know, we need, for now, all these points bound to it. And we'll go up and check one more time. Let's make sure everything is good there. Cool. Let's just check on our arms. I know they're going to be ugly if I move them now because I haven't really got anything fixed with those. So that would be next, because I just finished the neck. Not with the smart bones, but the rigging of it. So we'll do the smart bones in a bit, but that is good there. All this is done, so now we're going to work on the arm, which is going to be upper arm. Actually, I always do arm upper left. And we're going to create an action for that. We will say OK. And I'm just going to go about to 48. And let's just lift that sucker on up to an ugly point. That works for me. And now we will find the upper left layer. And this is going to be a pain in the butt, so you guys know. But luckily we have this magnet tool, which is actually really super handy. I'm going to up this to about a 0.05, I think. See where we are with it. That's not bad. And try to start now pulling some of these points around together, trying not to destroy the arm in general. Those will probably need to be adjusted a little more. We're going to go down to a 0.01, I think, and just start pulling stuff around that's a little better. Yeah, done. And like I said, if we get weird twists and stuff, it's always pretty easy to go in and undo that stuff with our curves here. Let me just deselect, grab that, and we can start getting some of these untwisted. It's a bit sad that it will do that sometimes, but that's just the nature of the whole thing. It's weird because I've been working with Moho and Illustrator lately, and it's really easy to get mixed up in what tool does what, which program has that tool or not. That's probably the most annoying part for me, is just trying to figure out, well, is that in this program or that program? So let's just see where we're at on that. Not horrible. Just kind of move this up. It's pretty bad through the middle. Also need to get the shirt working there. So we grab this magnet tool again. Let's pull some stuff in. I usually just kind of grab this at random, you know, just kind of like haphazardly, I should say, and just get it kind of all going the same direction at least to start with. And then I'll come in later on and sort of carefully kind of plot out where things should be. See, it's easy to separate stuff if you've got that set up that way. I have to be careful because a lot of these things are on separate paths, like most things in my life. I'm kidding. Okay, let's just get this way and that way. These twists and stuff I'm not going to worry about yet until everything's kind of set up and I can see what's what. Just don't want to get it too detailed in here until I know more about what's happening. Just in the main vicinity. So that's okay. That's okay. This should really start to stretch right as he gets his arm about here. I'm just trying to get some of this a little more spread out. Maybe there. I do not want it really sliding up so much though, so about here maybe, you know, we'll go a little more like this. And 0.005. Don't be afraid to change the size of your tools, I will tell you, because that will definitely make your life a lot easier to get things moved around correctly. So we've got that there. I do not like where it is here. So that's the next thing to change. All of this is gonna pretty much take a turn. Gotta figure out where that line mostly is and wants to be. It gets a little messy, but you can come in here and smooth it all out later. I wish they had the smoothing tool that we've got in Illustrator though, because man, that would be nice. I don't believe there's any such tool in here. There's the make the points less points tool. I think that's about it there. Okay, so depending upon what's going on here too, I'm gonna have to come in and make some of these edges hidden. Probably a lot of them. There's way too many points happening in here all of a sudden. Just move back and kind of see where we're at. Yeah, you get the idea. I'm gonna make this shirt do some kind of adjusting too. I think back here in the main line though, I'm gonna go in and hide the torso real quick. And on this arm, wherever that is, there we go. We need to hide or move this piece. I'm just going to pull this point out of the way. If we need to move it back, we can. And that's probably going to be better for us anyway. And I'm going to hide some of these edges here. I hope I just made a keyframe, which we do not want. Let me fix that. Go back to the first frame. Always remember to go to frame 0 for your setup. This is going to be here, more down here. You get the idea. And then I'm going to come in and hide the edges now, as I was saying. Something like so. Oh, look at that little guy. Definitely don't want that happening. I might have to go in and delete that point out because it's just going to be annoying and in my way. Okay, so I'm not sure how far I need to come with this one, but I'm going to go ahead and stop there. Turn our torso back on. Let's see what's up there. We can get rid of these points popping out. Probably way too many points along these lines. They were kind of hand drawn in there though, so they kind of tend to build up. Alright, so for the moment, it's a little graphical weird error there. Also going to pull this guy up and change that curvature as much as humanly possible. So obviously that's no good. Okay, and then let's pull this one back down. Better. And let's just check now with the bone if that moves better. Got a few folks watching. I don't know if I know you, but if I do, say hello. And let's check our action here. It's definitely getting better. Okay. Right here, though, let's go to the upper arm left. We need to adjust some points. Let's grab some of these ugly ones. There's nothing wrong with ugly points, though. Don't get me wrong. Move these out of the way a little bit in here. It's getting ugly. Like I said, I really wish I had a smooth points tool in here like we do in Illustrator. I think the best they have here is reduce points, which I don't want to use because it'll actually change animation and stuff, or the way I've set stuff up. So just kind of got to go in here and select some of these and change the curvature. I really like the curvature tool in Illustrator also, because you just drag the edge and move it, as opposed to having to hunt down every little tiny point to move it. That can be a little nerve-wracking, but it's cool. I still love Moho. Do not get me wrong. Let's get our curvature down here. Yeah, it's just a little different kind of workflow, I guess. And let's fix this line, because that obviously is an issue. Kind of start pulling things upward, kind of hiding, not necessarily that, but definitely this guy up here more and this one up here more. Then of course we can adjust the curvature on multiple fronts here. Just get this moved up as well to kind of close this gap. You'll find yourself fighting a lot of battles at the same time, especially when you have a whole lot of complex stuff in here like this. But so somewhere in here we could make a few more adjustments just to try and make it a little prettier. Maybe like so. Just more curves, more and more. I think that one's going to come back this way. Okay, let's see. Boom, it's not pretty, but it ish works. Ish. Let's just get this guy here. Let's get something a little more making sense to some degree about some of these. It's not great. Let's try that. Let's get this back over the top. But you get the idea. The arm is going up and down. We are losing volume there. Let's just see. Probably going to pull this out a little bit. Let's get this up to maybe like a 0.01. About twice its size, maybe 0.05. And start pulling out some of these. Just fatten that arm back out a little bit. So we're going to have a rent and there, and then it's going to get real skinny here, which is fine, but I just don't know if I want it that skinny at that point. So when it lifts, right here is really when I need to have some of that width come back in. So we'll go zip and up. So not horribly bad. Not great either, but you get it. I mean, it works. I could go in and fix these top lines. It's really probably the worst of it, right through here. So on 24, it's going to grab some of these guys and work the curves. Don't know why it's not letting me. Give me a second. There we go. Just work this curve out that way. And pull that up to a more desirable position. We'll start with this. Let's see. Obviously that needs to be connected if we can. Just work on one spot at a time. Something like that. And then we work the curve gain. Work it, adjust it, whatever you want to call it. And then back down. See, the issue is that one got this graphic error happening again. That one's going to get a little bit weird because it keeps needing to be farther down, because that's actually part of the arm and not part of the what is with this? The thing here. I could also, if we wanted, make that start out with a thinner end like this, so that when it comes up it kind of grows over time and looks a lot more natural. This one too, this curve is really awful, so we're going to drop that back. It's okay that it's there, because I mean this could easily be the sleeve dropping down, you know, underneath. And if we do that, then we're going to need to put these in a good position here too. Which their curvature is a little wonky, but it works. Something like this. So yeah, we're going to have not horrible and not great, but you know, we can use this for the moment. So one thing I do want to do is get rid of this guy. Not sure why it's bouncing around so much up in there. That's fine there, and let's find it when it comes up now. It's doing some weird stuff. That is that one that has that edge. So it's just a matter of playing with this while it animates to figure out where you may or may not need some keyframes. It's a little more complex. Definitely, this is ridiculous. Than some things need to be, but once again, this doesn't even have to be up here. You know, there doesn't need to be an outline all the way up in this section. All right, so let's go back to the main line. That is a lift for that for the moment. The other one needs to have that done as well. What I'm more interested in doing right now, though, is trying to create my head turn, because it's going to be pretty involved. So I'm going to deselect any bones that are selected. Come over here and make a bone on frame 0. And this is going to be called head turn. And we're going to do this by creating selecting that bone in the bone layer on frame 0. We're going to go to bone, make smart bone dial. And we're going to call that head turn. We're going to say OK. And we're going to let this zip over to frame 100. And this is where it gets difficult. So we're going to just start working on only the facial stuff here. Don't worry about the hair for now. We're going to go with the left brow. And I'm just going to grab all of its points. We could do this point-wise, probably better. And just move this guy super far to the left like this. So now we're going to have this happening. The dynamics are going to be a little weird while we're doing this, but it's okay. This one, same thing. While it's on frame 100, we're just going to grab this and guess at where that should probably wind up. We can move that later. The nose now, same thing. I'm just going to grab the pieces. Even this little section at the top. Don't know exactly where that needs to be yet either. Just grab everything and move it over to approximately where it should probably be. The eyes, same deal. Frame 100. Now this is going to be a layer situation here, but we need to make sure we put our centers on our eyes. I'm going to do the right eye first, though. I'm going to grab it and move it pretty far over. I'm not going to worry about the squash and so forth at this point. We'll do that in a bit. And then the other We're going to move it over like this, I believe. We have these little face pieces here that are part of the face. We'll move in a second. The mouth, I'm going to center it with our origin point. Get it moved over. And then the face, this is where we're going to be adjusting quite a bit of small stuff and our face shadow. But let's just make sure the face pieces work first. And I'm going to come in here and just grab these little pieces now and make sure we move those over. That will probably be squashed more than likely. This one will be, make sure you don't get any of the points dealing with the shadow there. And then I'm going to move that one over to approximately the same place. And then we got ears we could worry about. These are going to have to be set with depth sorting, which we probably should go turn on now. So I'm going to go back to frame 0 for one and just kind of test my face. It looks pretty good. We need a little bit of slanting up for these parts and a little bit of getting smaller, because right now it almost looks like a isometric view of the face turning, but it's working. Let's go back here. We're going to double click on this layer and make sure that on depth sort we have enable animated layer order. Say OK. Once that applies, we say OK, and we're back in our smart action here. And we want to decide where, at what point do the ears change layering. I usually go at about frame 5. And we're going to make sure that the left ear, this one stays where it's at, and the left ear, sorry, the right ear, and then the left ear will actually change its position to be in front of the face. I just have to make sure that happens like so, and then it will eventually, by a frame 100, wind up wherever it's going to wind up. Just grab the whole thing here and move it over to about where it should be. Don't worry about the shadows, obviously, right now, or the shape just yet. So now we're going to have, like so. Also, something I always do is take all of these within an action. I will change these to linear, because you don't want the ear slowing down faster than the face or anything like that. So all of your pieces kind of, you need to go back and make sure those all say linear. That's up to you though. So the eye moving over linear. That way they all wind up at the same place at the same time. It's a little bit of a pain. I should have been doing this while I was moving the pieces, but not a biggie. So with that, linear. I'm working on a big 65-inch screen right now, 4K. It's a lot easier to see what you're doing. I like to use my graphics display though for any work where I'm drawing or anything. Okay, so I'm sorry, I'm forgetting what I'm doing. Linear. And then a hair, not going to worry about at the moment. And let's just make sure there's anything else that needs to move. And I think that's okay at the second. Okay, so now these should all move together. Now the back ear obviously needs to wind up, or it needs to wind up too. So let's go ahead and find ear right. I'm going to grab it, grab everything, move it over. We're going to worry about the distortion and stuff of it in a second. I'm going to go ahead and squish it some before I drop it back. I lied. So we'll just go ahead and pull this one back now to approximately where it might wind up, and make sure it is also set to linear keyframes. Now it's going to look really funny because the head hasn't changed shape yet, but you can kind of see what's happening with it. And so I'm going to go here to my face now and try to approximate the shape that you can imagine he has here So it's going to have a little bit of a cheekbone sticking out. His chin's going to come out here. You know, and this is just a lot of, it's kind of a lot of work, but totally worth it. Something I got to be careful about, though, is all of these points are multiple points because they're not just a stroke. Don't worry about this eye. We're going to wind up cutting that off eventually. And you can see I haven't selected enough of these here because there aren't enough of them there, which is a real pain when you get into doing this. Let me just get some more. Oops, some more of these. Did I just move my ear back? I'm not sure. Okay, so let's grab these now. Probably these as well. Let's pull them forward some. Yeah, that's pretty good. Because I did not put probably enough points in my outlines. It can be kind of a pain. Let me just get the rest of these aligned a little better. That's probably okay. And then now I need to find the ones specifically for the outlines. Grab those. We have to start forming a chin here. Just pull that one forward. And it's going to overlap weirdly until we get that these other ones moved over. Because there are not enough points there. Okay, I'm just going to grab probably all of those and pull those over. To just kind of begin, you know, what this should look like. I don't even know at this point how it's going to be. I probably should have made a sketch, but... And if it gets weird like that, you just grab that point and pull it back in there. Pretty simple stuff. Any of these that are too far out, you know, obviously all this needs to be adjusted. Let's just kind of go back and forth testing the head shape. He's cuter here, and I don't mean cute like I like guys. I mean like he's a cute kid. And then when he turns his head, I don't know. We'll see. So, let me see here. I think I might want to make the back of the head kind of come up like in a jaw-like area here. So maybe this stuff can come up a little bit as that comes around. That'll give him a better look from the front, kind of like he had looking from the front. Let me just pull some of these out of the way. But I will tell you, that's kind of a pain in the butt to do multiple line stuff like this without planning it really well. And normally, I mean, the only reason why I'm doing this is because I sketched my lines on a different layer than the objects I was creating. Not a mistake, it's just a choice. Okay, so that needs to kind of come around with the eye. I'm going to grab all of this, pull that around to start with, but not that little guy right there. If you notice, I accidentally grabbed it. Let's just make sure we're only getting the stuff that I want. This is going to be down kind of in the eye socket like we had. Anything that overlaps and does weird stuff like this, we can come in here and take care of. It's all got to sort of bend down or squish down. Okay, so that kind of works. Let's get that more up, I think, in the eye like this. Is that how that was there? Kinda. It works. Let's just get this up and over there like that then. Just trying to approximate what it is from the other angle. And it doesn't have to be exact because this is a shadow coming from the hair. So that probably dips down way too much for the bottom of that eye. Let's see what happens. Okay, not horrible. Probably should come over a little bit more. Something like that. And then the hair shadow should probably kind of squish in to some degree here. There we go. Much better. Much better. Okay, so that's pretty far away, and then that overlaps. So there's this weird nose line right here that I need to find my nose. And then we could take that little nose line, select it by itself, move it back over to somewhere here. That way it all moves together. We'll have to change the perspective of a lot of stuff here to get this to work and really look good, but you're getting the idea, I'm sure. And we're going to take the eye right, and hopefully I can just squish the layer down, but I don't know if that's going to be good to do for it, but let's see. It's not horrible though. Can even take this one and make it just slightly larger overall. That way you get that kind of parallax between the two of them. In fact, this one can now also be made smaller. That way you get that parallax between the two of them as much as possible. Also have to take care of that eyebrow in a second, the other one. I want to make sure that we're getting... I also don't like the way this chin dips down, so we're going back to the face now. And I want to sort of sharpen that, trim it up a little bit. So maybe taking this here up and forward. And then of course the rest of the face, and adjust the curve on that. It's quite possible that this might need another point at some point here. Just get this up in there as well. Adjust the curvature. Yeah, like I said, it's a battle the whole time. You're fighting this pretty much the whole time. So not sure what that little piece was or is. I don't know what I need. I guess I put that in there for a reason. This needs to come over under the lip, this whole section here. So we'll grab it, move it over like that. In fact, I think these can come over to a degree, adjusting the curvature out so they don't look ridiculous. There we go. Get that overlapped. Wrote this horrible song about having a Star Wars figure stuck in a place you don't want things to be stuck, and not being able to get it out. It's pretty funny. I don't recommend listening to it though, at all. I'll have to put the link here somewhere. Okay, so that's okay for the moment. I will go and maybe even add another point in here, but you get it. And this one probably could come over to sort of work with that ear. Kind of like we've still got our highlight, but it does move to a degree with the head. In fact, that one shouldn't be dipping down in the jaw so much. This could be still here. That looks a lot better. The mouth needs to squish and probably move over slightly, so I'll just take that and grab the whole thing, move it over, Get it more centered under the nose there. And again, give it a little bit of a squish. We don't have to squish it to where that's totally in, but I'm going to. Now the nose, same thing, but it's not just about squishing the nose. We are going to squish it a little bit, but I'm going to have to actually parallax the nostrils and everything here in a second. So just get this kind of squished a little. And then I'm going to need to, like I said, actually grab nostrils, squish those like that. Maybe even a little scaling there. Grab this one. It's going to come over and possibly be a little larger. And I'm going to take that highlight, push it over, just kind of see where we wind up. I don't want the nose coming up, which it appears to be doing. I think it might be because the mouth appears to be going down. I'm going to double check that though. It's not really moving down, but the nose does feel like it's coming up. So right here, I'm going to grab all of our nose points and try to pull those down here. Still feels a little stretchy, but that's all right. I think the eyes are doing it too because we have that one eye that's getting smaller. I'm going to make that one actually move down slightly. There we go. Yeah, much better. The mouth, I think, needs even more of a stretch back in. And then I'm going to, yeah, it's moving down. We don't want that. All right, that's not bad. I'm going to also pull that shadow of the nose more down. Right now someone's out there saying thank you. Let's just grab a few of these. As the light comes around, you know, it's got to happen. I have to move these freckles too, I just realized. And so this will have a little bit more. Yeah, that looks a lot better. It's not perfect. In fact, that edge on that nostril will probably need to tuck behind and hide at some point here. So let me grab that shape. Figure out exactly where that probably will happen. Probably right about there. If I'm allowed, I'm going to grab that shape and draw lower shape. Draw lower shape. Draw lower again, and at least one more time. Lower shape. Let's see. Oh, you know what? It doesn't. So we're going to have to not lower it. Draw. Raise the front. Now we're going to send it back a little bit. Maybe. But what I want to do is move it out and behind the nose. So we're going to start with it a bit farther out. Like this. And that way, I'm going to move it lower. We shouldn't be able to tell. There is my points. There we go. Shape is what we want, though. Right here. And I'm going to lower this down a couple. So draw, so lower it back to start with. Probably what we actually need to do. And then I'm going to grab that and just kind of test if it can block out, and it can. So from here, we're going to go from here. By the time it gets about this spot, we're going to just go ahead and have it behind. So that's going to give us a bit of parallax on that too. And then we need to fix it there. These all need to be linear, as does pretty much everything in the nose. So I'm going to come back and just grab it all now. Make sure all this is in fact set to linear. I'm pretty sure it is. So that should not give me that weird problem in the beginning. Perfect. So now as he turns his head, you get a lot more of that. Okay. Let's just check those ears. I think it looks fine. They swap. Okay, the hair is going to be a big one. I'm not going to worry about that shadow either until this is in this position. So let's go check the hair. This is the hard part, in my opinion. So hair top, this pretty much has to move over from here. It's still touching that left eyebrow. So it moves over quite a lot. So let's just go ahead and surround everything. And we'll move it forward, kind of like this for the moment. I'm not sure what's happening there, and it's because we have those dynamic bones turned on. But let's just see if that's going to at least work slowly, moving it over. Just leave it there for the moment. I don't know if it needs to move up or down. I think it's okay. Let's grab a different piece. This one here is going to have to move over and probably stretch to some degree. So we'll have that. Let's see where it starts. It's covering the hair in the front like a sideburn. So I'm going to try and at least put it in that position. Like this. And then sort of come back and stretch this backwards. Trying to find kind of a happy medium. We can go back in, obviously, and fix this with points. But I want to make sure also this is set to linear. Oops, wrong one. There we go. And now we have this sort of turn, it's getting weird because of the dynamic bones, so don't worry about that. As I move slower, you'll see it works fine. I think, though, that this one, the hair top, for one, needs to be linear. But it also is moving a bit much forward. So I'm just going to pull that back slightly. We'll see where it winds up in the end. Let's go ahead now to the hairsprig's front, see what that is got going on. So that's going from that little angled section. We're going to grab it and move it over to fit in that sort of wedge as well. Right about here. Let's see where it lands on the face from the front here. So it's about right. Yeah, it's about right. And then the top under, let's see what that means. That's going to be essentially the right side of the hair. So that's going to be a very important part to fill in everything. It's going to end by the eye or behind the head, at least that part when we end it. So let's just come over here, go here, and just move everything forward. Pretty much like that, I think. I'm going to make sure these are linear. And let's come back, see what happens. Now, this will make a lot more sense once we actually have it in place, because right now it's going to squish a little weird and do things like that. Okay, so now let's try this hair top under, see what that is. Let me also make sure that did say linear. Okay, so now back in frame 0 again. This is this whole side. It works like the sideburn. It's going to shift under everything as we turn. So it's just pretty much going to go back. It's going to squish right about here. So let's grab that and squish this way. Let's see, so it squishes here while pulling back some. So let's just get that. And then as we get to frame 100, it's fully squished and or back out of the way, and it has to jump at some point behind the head here. So let's see. It's going to be about here, and I think it needs to jump behind about pretty much right there. So this will actually need to go mouth face behind the face. So hopefully it can handle this without breaking. Pull that out, put it right there, and now when it goes farther along, it is now behind, and I will move it back here like that. We need to work on the face there, but I think overall that is working. Yeah, not bad. We need a back of the head though, hair. We need something that really pops out there. And let's see, let's go back up to our hair. We got the top under, now top hair sprig. Okay, where is this guy? He's coming from this point, and he's just going to be turning and moving back. So we'll grab the whole thing. We will stretch it or squash it this way and move it pretty far back there like that. Let's see how that goes. I think that works fine. Yeah, it's right in the top, so it's going to get a decent amount of movement. Let's just pull it forward just slightly. So it's not too weird. I need to bring it down too because it looks like it's going up like a worm crawling up his head. So I think that's okay. All right, so then sprig 2, we've got from here. Let's grab it, the whole thing. And then at 100, it needs to pretty much just turn. And, which means we're going to kind of straighten it out a little bit. Let's see, what's the easiest way of doing that? Probably literally taking the curve out of it. Just move them points so that they don't do anything horribly ugly. Okay. Straighten that up a little bit. Straighten this up a little bit possibly. A little more like so. Let's see what happens. So we've got sprig, turn. Yeah, that works for me. Perfect. Sprig 3, pretty much going to do the same thing. So on frame 100, it's going to grab, and we can just do points. This is going to, whoops, this is going to wind up straightening up more, which my cat would. Okay, I mean, that is here. Probably grab all those and move those over together. Just trying to pull out some of that curve toward the end. I'll have to probably take in my curves here and tell it, hey, get your act together. Like this. That'd be okay. And then just a matter of pulling these down, straighten these. That works as well. It's got a turn to it. And then the last one now, we're just going to go with sprig 4. And I'm going to drop this one maybe down a little bit. Maybe. Got to be careful because if we're not moving the bones with it, it can get weird. So this one's kind of going to go outside of its own bounds, but that's okay. It's not going to kill it or anything. It's just we have to remember when animating it that that's what the intention was. Let me just check something real quick. Okay, let me just check now again. Going to here to here. I think these could come up a little. Like I said, we're going to go outside of the bounds of our bones, but that's fine. There's no sin in that. If there was, it might be a little fun. And let's just bring these this way and this way. See what happens. Yeah, now we got a nice turn for that. Okay, it works for me for the most part. Now the back has no outline. We should probably give it one. And I think what needs to happen with it is it needs to come up and essentially make the back of the head for us. So just emulate that basically. So as this is here, I will make an outline on it. Probably needs to be about here. Just judging from roundness of the head. I probably should have put some, what do you call it? Little daggy parts for the hair, you know? We can work on that later. Get these sort of untwisted. Easy enough. Flick some handles around, and this one looks either to be broken or to have two of them there. I think this one has kind of a permanent break to it. Not sure why that is. It's okay because can always, there we go, and move these around to a better spot. I think that works. Maybe even a little more full toward the bottom. Could even give this a little shape. Another little bit of hair, right? And I'll come in and actually do more of that. And let's go ahead and throw the, we have to go back to do that, but throw the, what you call it on it, outline. So this looks pretty good. He's not flattening his head out too much. Right about here though, he doesn't have much volume, I think, to the top slash back of his head. So I'm gonna pop out a little bit of this now so that when it gets there, it pretty much is ready to be seen. This will come out a little early now. Too many points. I don't like working that way. I'll just pull this up here. And hopefully, so it won't matter once he's this way, but from here on it does. So I'm going to pull that back. I'm going to go ahead and pull this up to really give a bit of back of a head happening there. Let's just grab a few points together now. Move those out. And you can drop that down a little bit. Can add some more detail here after the fact. Okay, that's not too bad. We do need to slide the other one over now. It's this side. And at that point, this one should be pushed back some. It's the back of the head after all. It actually should be shoved quite a bit over, because as that turns, that back should turn at least as fast as that ear. And it's the face shape I'm mostly concerned about right now. It's not bad. It's also not great. And of course the ears and eyes are a little odd. Let me just see here. That looks more kind of like a little puggy ramp, and this feels a little flat. So let's take the nose, possibly push it more out this way. And even take the face shape now and just bring that out a little bit too. It's the hardest thing, I'll tell you, to move all these points at once when you have something that's a little more sketchy. And I'm not talking about the guy standing out in front of the grocery store. I'm talking about lots of sketch type lines, very sketched in its appearance. Not necessarily sketch in its appearance. Yes, I am a dork. And I'm going to take this now, pull that up. It looks like we really should have had at least one more line here. Looks like these are twisting. I'm not a fan of that. Grab you, and then you. Try to get this back. There's just not enough lines here to do this justice. I will probably have to jump back out to the main line and fix that, which is not that big of a deal. It seems like I'm kind of getting it worked out here now, though, but still something about that face shape I absolutely do not like. But I'll figure that out. Little bits, you know what I mean? It's all the detail stuff. I think that left eye really needs to shove over. I'm sorry, the right eye needs to shove over even more. Start with. Maybe that nose line even could move. So where's my nose? There we go. We're gonna grab this line. Just push that over. More. And this little eye thing from the face. This guy should really probably be shoved right up there, probably squished down quite a bit too. It can be angled to some degree. And this one should really also be kind of that way, I think. Let's see how that works. And you can see the slowdown because those are set to smooth. We're going to do those to linear. And everything will kind of work much better. I think this piece also, something about it isn't working just right, but I'm going to check. Yeah, it looks pretty good now. Let's grab the, what was it? I'm going to have to really figure out where the eyebrows go. So that right eyebrow is not in a great place. We'll just come out of here and find it. Brow right. And that one needs to squish quite a bit. Figure out how high it needs to be. It's not too bad there, but it's also kind of pulling away. Something a little like that. All right, and then the other one seems to be kind of okay. It's corner needs the same place as that. I think it needs to be pushed forward a little bit more. So we got kind of that thing going on. I think that works. All right, so, and then I think also the face highlight could be pushed around, or the shadow could be pushed around a bit more. Just grab some points and move them along. This one can be probably brought forward. This is going to give him kind of an angular jaw sort of feel, or the cheekbones, you know. So it's not bad, but that is up in there, which isn't bad. Let's do that the same way. Where, which point is that? That's the high point, though. That one is going to be this guy. So I'm going to make sure that that kind of emulates there. I'm going to pull that up in here and then pull these back over. See if that is similar. Not bad, but I think that still needs to move up more in the corner here, along with this one. Okay, that's working. Let's get this more toward the corner of the mouth. Now, we got to remember, it's not like this is the color of his skin or anything, so we still want this to feel like a shadow. So I can't make it like, you know, move along as though it's part of his skin or whatever, but let's just get that there. And I think overall it's pretty good, but except for he has no hair kind of down here in the back. It's not horrible. Let's just jump back out here. We're going to test this with our bone now from the bone layer. And then we have to do all this again for going the other direction. So, yay. All right, let's just see with the manipulate here. Okay, the hair wants to rise up, but I think that has to do with the fact that the dynamics are turned on. So I'm just going to go ahead and look. We're going to start here, and then I'm just going to take a 2-second head turn this way, and then another 2-second coming back without a pause. Let's see what happens. Not horrible. It does draw up slightly in the front when he turns, but it's not the worst. So not too bad. That's head turn 1. Lots left to do. I just wanted to include you guys on it. Tell me what you think. Like, subscribe, do all those things for me, please. It's going to help me out a lot because I'm trying to get monetized for sure. I don't know if I'm even allowed to say that. Cool. Well, let me know what you think. There will be more.